Hello students, welcome to our YouTube channel. See, I am going to discuss just one question of day 1 shift 1 JEE Mains 2025. Reason is simple. See, it may happen that few of you or at least one of you or maybe several of you would have got an anomaly or then observed an anomaly when I solved this question in a live session, okay, on Tiruto YouTube channel. Okay, so when I solved it live, so see, while solving also I felt that there might be something wrong, but see, I was so much convinced by the interpretation of the statement that I solved it and I concluded it. Okay, now see, when I was today discussing in the morning with my own students here, and then we had a discussion, and then he convinced me that that should be the interpretation of the question. So that's why I'm discussing this single question separately, so as to correct myself. Okay, so now the question is, see, the question statement is, let x denote the number of times tail follow ahead. Number of times tail follow ahead. Okay, so how I concluded it or I interpreted it, I said, okay, for that means there must be a head, and then we may have, so that is for x is equal to 2 tail following ahead, or maybe ht h, so 1 x is equal to 1 case, or THT, that is also for x is equal to 1 case, HST, that was also for 1 case. That's how I solved previously. But then he said that, see, when it's written that x denotes number of times tail follow ahead. So if there is no head, okay, what does that mean? So for what happened in that case was, when I said for x is equal to 0, so for x is equal to 0, I just took up only one case, HHH, because then there's no tail following ahead. But then he said when there's no head at all, then also x is equal to 0, because this statement is not a valid or is not being validated there. Okay, when there's no head at all, so that means for x is equal to 0, we may have this case TTT. Okay, but after a brief discussion, I got convinced. Now I am sure that is the actually interpretation of this question. So that's why I am here to correct that solution and give you people a correct solution here. So there's no head at all, then whatever case, I mean, that is TTH. So there's no tail following a head. There's no tail which is following a head because there's no head. Okay, now there are two tails before the head. That's also a valid case, or THH. Now these are 4 cases here. Okay, so now see, rest the question is a question of probability distribution. Here we know how to do it. X is the random variable and we have to find probability of x here. For probability distribution, x can be 0, of course it can be 1, or it can be 2, and that's it. Okay, and that's it. So for 0, the cases are HHH, there is no head, no tail following a head, or it can be TTT, or it can be TTH, or it can be THH, right? These are 4 possibilities here. But every time, see, either it's HHH, the probability of occurrence is half into half into half, 1 by 2 whole cube. So, but there are 4 such possibilities, so 4 times half cube, and for 1, we have already seen, I think that was the case, so it is HTH, HHT, or maybe THT. Okay, so 3 possibilities here, and again for every case probability is half cube, isn't that? Whether it's head or tail, probability of occurrence is half. And for 2, of course, the only possibility is HTT, so it's 1 into half cube. Okay, so the actually what I observed while solving yesterday also was the sum of probabilities was not 1, but then I was so much convinced by the interpretation, my own interpretation of the statement, that I thought, okay, let it be, that should be the answer. So I am correcting myself here, that's what I am repeating again and again. So now we know mean. See, now here, of course, I need to say, now of course the sum is 1 here, because half cube is 1 by 8 and 4 plus 3 plus 1 is 8, 8 by 8 is 1. Okay, so now what does mean? Mean is nothing but P of xi into xi upon summation P of xi, and we know it's always 1 in probability distribution. So it will be 0 into this is gone, so 1 into 3 by 8 and 2 into 1 by 8. So whatever you get is the answer, 3 by 8, 5 by 8, so that's 5 by 8. And then we have our variance, and what is variance here in this case? Variance is, rather in every case, variance for probability distribution is xi square upon summation pxi which is always 1 though, and minus mean whole square, and that's it. So what will that be? So variance in that case will be bacho, so it will be 0 gone, so 1 into 1 square is so 3 by 8, 2 square is 4, so 4 by 8, so it's 7 by 8, of course minus, I just missed it, okay, but I will write it here. So minus mean square, which is 5 by 8 whole square, so that's your sigma square. So there was a bit of misunderstanding or misinterpretation, okay, in the statement. Now I'm convinced with the with this interpretation given by my own student here. Okay, so that's it. So that was a question of probability distribution of day 1 shift 1 बच्चों.